The contents of this podcast are highly inappropriate and should not be considered in any way safe for work. Listen at your own discretion, and don't let your kids listen. Previously on Reagents Required.
They set us up the bomb!
All your base belong to us.
There is no Shara, only Zul!
Sorry, go ahead. You can do that again if you want to. Damn it, Chewie, cut that out.
A room for all eternity in the center of a dead planet. Buried alive. Buried alive.
Kalema!
Yes. My biggest problem with the movies is that their way of dealing with not having to deal with canon was to go, look, Star Trek universe, all of this, Etch-a-Sketch. Get your finger out of there! Aw. And now the thrilling conclusion of Reagent Required. And then leave.
Huh, that doesn't sound familiar. The closest, well, there was it. Do you remember if it was a skeletal dragon?
It was skeletal, yeah.
Then it was probably Wrath.
It was a big skeleton dragon.
Yeah, because I remember 'cause the big thing with Wrath's pre-launch event was the zombies.
Okay.
Which was like the most amazing thing ever, and people hated it.
Ha ha ha.
Well, okay. It started out. It worked perfectly because it fit into the lore of Wrath. Basically, what it started out. It started out as these boxes labeled inconspicuous boxes that were in Booty Bay. When you touched them, you got a debuff that said that you've caught a plague or something like that, and then it would tick down. When it hit 0, you died.
Of course.
And at first off, you would die. And then over time, eventually you would die, but had a percentage of coming back as a zombie whose health was constantly going down. The only way to raise it up is to kill somebody as a zombie, and it would like regenerate your health and basically giving you a time limit that you were a zombie. Everybody
that sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
It was. Every person that you killed had a percentage of coming back as a zombie as well. And then eventually over time, the percentages increased and increased and increased until you had a full-on zombie invasion going on.
So is this? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was saying, but it's this only happened in the city. It's not like
no, it was everywhere.
Oh wow! So if you die in the middle of a dungeon and it's that time of year,
it wasn't in the dungeons. It was outside of the dungeons, but it was everywhere else, including major cities. Actually, it got to the point where the major cities had these Argent healers that you could go to have the plague lifted from you. So you wouldn't die from it. But outside, it was all zombie apocalypse where people were dying and NPCs. It's said the NPCs would turn into NPC zombies if you killed them.
So you could have, depending on the character, an NPC elite zombie.
Pretty much, yeah.
So say nobody wants to kill a zombie bank guard. Ever.
But it was an amazing idea, and then eventually, all of a sudden, everybody became immune. The plague killed itself off basically.
Okay.
And I'm like, this is awesome. Also, during the same time, the ziggurats, the necropolises that are common with the Scourge in World of Warcraft, were floating over major cities and had these little crystals floating on the ground at various locations, guarded by undead that you could kill, and basically by destroying them would banish the necropolis to wherever it came from.
I was gonna say that's not ominous or anything.
Oh no. But, well, the Necropolis part was basically a redo of another event that they did when Nexoramus was originally introduced, because they did the same thing. They just added the zombie thing to it. But basically, by doing that, you could get items that you could trade into Argent vendors that would sell you one-time items that would never show up in the game ever again, which I may or may not have in some of my bank slots.
They do very cool things with special one-off events like the release of expansions, but also with holidays as well. And I
Yeah.
do remember Christmas and Halloween, especially Christmas, being pretty interesting.
I always loved Halloween because of the Headless Horseman integration.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Just, I love the way he spoke. He had a very Dr. Seussian way of speaking.
He did.
And I don't know, I just really love that.
I think what I remember, I mean, it's hard to remember a lot of it because again, this was all years ago. The stuff that I remember was the fun elf transformation-y stuff.
Yes.
And I do remember actually because I think we were playing for part of it, and because it was because of the time change things of hanging out. I want to say with probably you and Wind and watching like the New Year's fireworks in Booty
Oh,
Bay
yes.
because they were really pretty. And okay, I admit it's not real; it's in a game, but fireworks are fireworks, and I like shiny things, so I really enjoyed them.
Yeah, I still remember a point. I think it was just after you had left. Sitting in Stormwind, watching the fireworks with several other characters. In fact, I wish I still had all these screenshots. About, I want to say, 5 years ago, my computer crashed, and I lost literally 6 years worth of screenshots.
Aww.
And it makes me mad because they're all the way from like day one for my first character on Sardris, who was a night elf rogue, all the way to my mage.
Aww.
Lost all of those, and it's like that's depressing.
No.
Yeah, it's what I get for not backing them up.
Yes, you need a Warcraft cloud.
A war cloud.
A war cloud. There you go. But with nothing risque. No elf shots.
Yeah, gotta love what's been going on recently. Yeah.
I'm honestly really angry about it. Because it's once again, God forbid a female takes, some naughty pictures to keep on her own, and it ends up everywhere, and it's just like that's not your business. Moreover, I know that I believe some of the Jennifer Lawrence ones were doctored to make them look even worse, which is frustrating because again, it's a privacy thing, and on the other hand, sex is sex. She's going to do what she's going to do. And I don't think that anybody really has the right to be judging that unless she's doing it in public or with an animal in public. And it reminds me, I saw a quote that someone brought up about this. Do you know who Vanessa Hudgens is? I think her last name.
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I don't know how much Disney you watch.
Not
so
much
she had got caught in a thing with inappropriate or with naked photos several years ago, and she had to apologize for the fact that she took them and saying, well, maybe she'll be a little bit, she'll be smarter behaved next time or something. And it was the implication that by virtue of taking naked photos, she had done something wrong. And I don't agree with that. Because I don't think it's wrong. I think that it's something you need to, if you're going to take that photo, you have to know that chances are it's going to end up somewhere. But I don't think it's inherently wrong, and I think it's unfair of people to judge because of that.
Yeah.
So, sorry. Thus ends my soapbox. Feel free to cut that out if you want.
No, it's the theory for this particular podcast is no editing unless I absolutely necessarily need to, and I don't feel I absolutely necessarily need to.
In which case, to the people listening, I apologize for me disappearing every so often. My internet connection is terrible.
That will be edited out. But
okay.
That will be edited out for a little bit more cohesion. But this part specifically, mainly because of the fact that I agree with you, is not going to be edited out.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I disagreed with you, it wouldn't be edited out. But did you hear about the guys on Reddit that actually leaked those photos of Jennifer Lawrence, what they're doing?
I know that the FBI is involved, and more than that, I had not heard.
Well, the guys in on Reddit, multiple people on Reddit that shared the photos felt bad about it, so they donated money to Jennifer Lawrence's primary charity that she donates money to.
So the guys who leaked the photos, felt bad about it.
Yes.
Maybe they should have not done it in the first place.
Yeah,
More importantly, if it was me, I wouldn't have gone and said, "Oh, look, this was me. I'm really sorry about that." Because now the FBI is going to go after them because I think this is one of those, benchmark kind of things, like sort of with, when facing paparazzi cases,
Yeah,
that this isn't going to go away. And
yeah,
I think that this may hopefully, cause a bit of a paradigm shift in, how these people are treated.
yeah.
So,
But I just thought it was funny. Oh, and the funnier thing about it is the charity rejected the donation.
ha! Okay. I would say also furthermore by saying, "Oh, look, we have the donation. Great. Now they have your, your name and possibly your financial information, so now they can track him."
Yeah, they rejected the donation and returned every penny back to the donators.
I was gonna say maybe you should donate it to, a domestic violence awareness foundation or something.
I think it was like I
Ass
think
hats.
yeah, or her charity is a prostate cancer charity, I think, which
Okay.
is also funny
You
considering.
say amusing in its own right.
Yeah, yeah, considering the nude photos and all that. But
Yeah. I do actually think like a domestic violence awareness, if he's going to try and find somewhere, that would be a good place to put it, because really I think now that I sort of think about it, I would qualify this as as a version of violence against women.
oh yeah,
Well, or I mean, I'm sure maybe there were naked pictures of men on there. I honestly didn't really look. But
but no one cares if there are. They would be.
yeah. But in this day and age, posting something like that is a form of violence, a form of aggression, and it can be very damaging and very hurtful. So,
I agree.
yay. All right.
I agree.
Indeed.
But back to WoW.
Yes, and that relates to Warcraft because, well, I think there actually is a quest wherein you have to go and like help one of the various city prostitutes do something or other, save her from her pimp. I'm sure there is a quest along those lines.
What are you talking about? That's not a
somewhere
poop quest. That's not in there.
That's not a quest. I guarantee you, beat up the pimp is somewhere in Warcraft.
That would be an amazing. Okay, first of all, there is a robot in I think it's somewhere in Pandora called Blingatron. Which, first of all, he looks like a pimp, but I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that.
Mostly you just well there is also the Stylin purple hat.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, you can get that the purple suit with the hat. Now, yeah, I forgot about that.
I was to say, I will admit, I am now Googling Warcraft beat up pimp to see if there is, in fact.
I'm quite sure there's not. I know
Uh,
there's plenty of poop quests where you have to dig through poop.
there are there are many of those, just because it's, dig through the object to find the object and, look around the board, it's sparkling.
Yeah,
Um,
playing my undead mage, I found a lot more of those on the horde side than it did on the alliance side, which I find
really?
interesting.
Well, my memory of Westfall was just nothing but that over and over and over again was find the thing and avoid the angry
Well,
scarecrow
I was mainly
mechanic. But
referring to poop quests.
true. Well, I would find the thing. I would say yes, definitely more poop on the horde side. Although I think, speaking of, is Westfall gone?
No, Westfall's they actually turn. You remember the town, that small little town that's part of on part of a hill in Westfall?
Okay.
They made it into a walled city.
Oh wow.
But the whole thing is there's this little dichotomy where the people that can afford to live there are there, and the people who can't are hobos on the outside.
Interesting.
And there's like actually a quest where you go to feed the hobos.
Okay, so there isn't beat up the pimp, but there is beat up the hobo.
No, not beat up, feed.
Feed.
the
Okay,
hobos. Yeah,
good. Okay, feed the hobos. Much
feed the
better.
hobos. Yes. But there's a really cool when you first walk into Westfall. Now you come across a murder, and a guy by the name of Horatio Lane, who is investigating the murder.
Does he
And
take his visor or his goggles on
he
and off
doesn't, but he's wearing
constantly?
sunglasses.
Okay.
He's wearing, because it's WoW. He doesn't take off the sunglasses, but he's wearing sunglasses, and he makes the jokes like Horatio Kane would.
Duh.
But it's funny. And then you investigate the murder, and then you find out that Van Cleef. You remember Van Cleef?
I do remember Van Cleef.
Van Cleef had a daughter.
Okay. Oh, I remember you telling me about this because you were super psyched about it.
Yeah. She was actually really cool. His daughter turned out to be one of the NPCs that was in Westfall who was hiding her identity. And throughout the entire game, or throughout the entire area of Westfall, one of the quests that you're going on is um, finding some sort of conspiracy going on involving the death that you first walk in on,
Mm-hmm.
and then you keep watching these instances of these people meeting up with this cloaked figure that you can't make out who it is, and then it turns out that it was Van Cleef's daughter, who was an NPC there all the time, who's been helping you, but was actually just stringing you along the entire time. And
Mm.
she reveals herself and reveals that the Defias Brotherhood has not died and that they still carry on, and then lead you into dead mines.
Cookie lives.
Yes. And the really cool thing is, you don't fight her in normal dead mines. You fight her in heroic dead mines.
Ooh.
She's the final boss of heroic dead mines. And the cool thing is most of her battle you don't fight her directly.
Mm-hmm.
She hits you with a poison that causes you to hallucinate, which the hallucinations is basically going through the instance again without fighting anybody, but with traps that are all over the place. And if you die to the trap, you leave the battle. And then when you finally make it to her, then you fight her, but she's not really that hard. The whole difficulty is getting to her.
Okay.
Because basically if you die to the traps leading up to her, then you don't get to fight her.
Well, that sounds really irritating.
It is. But I fought her like twice, and she likes to do the ninja smoke bombs and disappearing and then reappearing behind somebody and beat on them a few minutes and disappearing and reappearing and all that stuff.
Of course.
And then the whole battle ends with setting off the explosives on you remember the ship at the end.
Yes.
You set off the explosive the ship on the ship, causing it to blow up, but you jump off with a rappel cord. So as it's blowing up, you're jumping off of it with a cord breaking the fall.
That sounds really cool.
It was. They're actually with the next expansion, they're actually doing what they did with Dead Mines with 2 more instances.
Okay.
I want to say it's Wynn's gonna kill me for not remembering this. I think it's Upper Blackrock Spire and Lower Blackrock Spire.
Okay.
I think.
Maybe. I mean, I say it would make sense.
I'm gonna look it up because he's gonna. I don't remember.
Fair enough. Okay. So the lesson being, start playing more. Actually, go run Dead Mines.
Yeah. I think you would like Dead Mines now.
So, I'll say on another nerdy note, my newsfeed informs me that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has confirmed his role as Shazam.
Black Adam, not Shazam.
Really? Oh, is it? Okay. Well, it says role in Shazam, not as.
Yes.
Okay.
He's going to be playing Black Adam, which I have said for a while he looks like Black Adam, who is his primary, nemesis.
Okay. I say Shazam is not what I am familiar with, so my mind keeps really weird movie. Was it with like Shaq as a genie?
That was Kazam.
Kazam. Okay.
Yes.
Well, terrible.
Shazam is okay. First of all, Shazam was originally known as Captain Marvel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But they couldn't call him Captain Marvel any longer because they didn't trademark the name, and Marvel Comics created a Captain Marvel and trademarked the name. But they worked out a deal to allow DC to continue to use Captain Marvel's name, and Marvel would allow them to do it. And that continued all the way up to literally modern day, like within 3 years ago, when they could no longer use it anymore, so they had to change the character's name to Shazam.
Gotcha.
Which more people thought he was Shazam already anyway, because he yelled Shazam to turn into Captain Marvel. Because Shazam is an acronym. It's all the people that he draws his strength from.
It's still Shazam.
Yeah.
I'm see that's one of those things that probably won't.
Well, you also have to understand that he was created in like the 40s, so it's a little kid.
Mm-hmm. Hey, no objection, and they're all really cool. So I really like the comics that people came up with, the older ones, from the 40s to the 60s, that then are kind of being reimagined.
Yeah.
Sometimes it comes out really dumb, but for the most part, it's been pretty cool.
Yeah. And for the record, Shazam stands for Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, and Mercury.
Ah. Shazam.
Yeah, it's basically the wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, the stamina of Atlas, the power of Zeus, the courage of Achilles, and the speed of Mercury.
Of course.
I actually had to look that up because I couldn't remember all of them. I remembered Solomon, Hercules, and Atlas, and Zeus, but I couldn't remember what the other A was and what the M was.
Okay.
So I did look that up. I cheated. Oh, by the way, this is going to be 2 episodes because we're actually in the hour mark. Well
Okay.
past the hour mark, actually.
Okay. Oh, even with recording? Because I know we also talked for like half an hour during the break and didn't record that, but it's
we're
probably
almost
done that way.
we're almost around the hour mark, so it's going to be 2 episodes. I'm going to cut it into 2.
Well.
I just thought I'd tell you that now.
Oh, that's cool.
Something else I was going to tell you. Oh, it's Upper Blackrock Spire, by the way, that they're revamping like they did.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's another thing that they're doing with the new expansion that I think would. Did you ever do PvP a lot, like Battlegrounds?
I did some. There was one about the farm one that I kind of enjoyed, but that was around about the time that I quit. Was when the guild that I was in all of a sudden became like the PvP guild, and all of a sudden
guild at the time you left.
We were, and it was this guy Blades or whatever who was responsible for it. You know, and so basically all of a sudden the guild like tripled in size, and there were none of these people I knew, and I was getting yelled at about why aren't you, playing the Battlegrounds more, and I was like, because I've been here forever and I like the graphics, leave me alone. And it became very competitive all of a sudden, and I remember taking part in starts with an A, has the towers. I want to say like Altair, but I know that's not
Alterac.
Alterac, there we go. And I remember doing an Alterac battle and just kind of taking it in and being very impressed because this guy it was like organized down to a military science. I mean, he was assigning people to squads and saying this person's in charge. I mean, it was super organized. But again, it was one of those, are we here to have fun? Or are we actually, or is this life and death? Take it seriously. Oh my God. And it's a game.
Yeah.
And I again, sort of same thing with Battlegrounds as sort of with putting in the time to play. There are people who are willing to put that time in and who actually take it that seriously. I am not one of them. So if I am causing you a problem and not holding up my end because I do not know the appropriate, formations, because it's a game and I haven't been paying attention, then I would just as soon not do that, and like I'll step out and say, no, here, you can have another fanatic go and play.
Yeah.
Because I do want to enjoy it, and again, it's harder to do that when you're doing the things that require so many people.
Indeed.
On the other hand, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, the reason I brought it up is you remember Torrin Mill in South Shore.
Yes.
One thing that they're releasing for Warlords of Draenor is an anniversary Battlegrounds map. That's basically South Shore versus Torrin Mill.
Okay.
That's a 100-person on each side.
100 people on, for God's sake. Okay.
Yeah, and it's a death match.
See, yeah. I like the ones where there's like maybe 20 people on each side. It's less frantic then. People take it less seriously.
It basically reuses the Old Hillsbrad. Did you ever do Old Hillsbrad, by the way?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, it basically uses the Old Hillsbrad Caverns of Time map.
Gotcha. Like, well, we've got it lying around, so
pretty much. Well. I mean, no one goes in the Caverns of Time anymore anyway, which is sad because I with the whole time travel thing.
Yeah.
Which I'm so glad that they're doing time travel in this expansion.
I was gonna say, otherwise there are things to do to this map.
Yes.
We've got different dimensions. We have spacefaring species. What's next?
I love the fact they're setting up an alternate timeline, because that's basically where the Warlords of Draenor takes place, is an alternate timeline that we get to go to through the Dark Portal. I assume. I think
the other Dark Portal.
Well, you've seen the opening intro, right?
Of Worlds of Draenor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and it ends with them building another Black Temple. I'm sorry, Dark Portal, which is, I assume, not the original one that was already made.
Yeah, so say this one comes in blue.
Well, actually, it's red, but
Oh, my. Sorry. I'll have to re-accessorize accordingly.
but yeah, I
Fashion
just
craft.
yeah. Yes. I mean, that's kind of what it is already now, with the ability to transmog your armor to look like other armor pieces.
Oh, for heaven's sake, you can do that too.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
I like that actually. I do kind of like that because then it means that you can look like you have the whole set
uh-huh.
and have it be different. I feel like that actually might come in handy for PvP as well because then, or I mean, like, or even in arena fighting, because if you look at the armor, if you know enough, I feel like that could tell you maybe what's they're slightly more likely to be weak to.
Indeed.
I don't know if I'm making that up though. So
But the only drawbacks to the transmog, sorry, I had a brain fart there for a second, is what you're transmogging to has to be something that you can actually wear,
okay,
both in armor and our armor rating and in level,
okay,
and it has to be a green or better.
okay.
Which means a white item you can't transmog to your character look like that. And also, it's outrageously priced.
Okay. That's okay. That strikes me as really something that you would only be doing if you have oodles of cash and are very bored.
Which is what it's aimed towards, is
Yeah,
the level capped people.
the level, yeah.
Because right now, though Kath is wearing armor from inside Pandora,
Uh-huh.
he currently looks like he did in Wrath of Lich King.
Huh, okay.
And I love that because that's the best armor he has ever had. It looks so amazing on him.
That will also, I realize, lend itself to people who are trying to do like the videos or whatever. So it
Exactly.
means you don't have to have it. Well, like I said, technically if you're doing a video, normally it's like isn't people have their own, fake servers or whatever
Well,
where
you
they
can do
can.
it that way. A lot of people try to get around. A lot of people do it in game in the
Mhm.
actual server because they don't want to get in trouble with Blizzard. Some people set up servers. Some people don't even do it within the game server at all. Some people set it up with the character viewer,
Yeah.
the character viewer and the map viewer. Because I messed around with that for a while.
Uh-huh.
The
I,
character
I
viewer,
think Win did too.
yeah, the character viewer is amazing. It's just the map viewer is glitchy as all get out.
Mm. Well, so another argument for World of Warcraft expansion for The Sims.
Indeed.
So,
But basically, the whole assumption, at least between me and Wind, is the fact that after we get done with Alt Draenor, we're going to go to
mhm.
Alt Azeroth,
Oh, that would make sense then.
which would be cool because it'd be Azeroth 5 years after the Dark Portal was supposed to open and the war between the orcs and humans were supposed to happen, but it didn't
Mhm.
in 30 years in the past.
Hmm.
Which would be cool because we get to see characters like Lothor and I'm having a brain fart, Medivh and all them, but not dead or corrupted like Medivh was, and
Mm.
dead like Lothar should be. You get to see young Varian when he was a kid, and you get to see Arthas as a kid and his father at the peak of his power and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I think it would be cool.
It does sound interesting.
But it's still not the expansion I want, though, is to go back to Warcraft 3 and it basically take place during Warcraft 3 and
Mhm.
have Lordaeron is a neutral city.
Hmm.
Or you could go where it'd be like the neutral hub like Shathrath was in BC.
Mhm.
And I would love to
Yeah.
see
Does that city still exist anyways? Like I don't even know
that.
how
Shathrath?
much is
Yeah.
I don't even know how much of it is of the old stuff is still there because they redid so much of the main, worlds.
Well, Shathrath was in Outlands, and Outlands hasn't
Yeah.
been redone.
Okay.
But the cool thing is in Warlords of Draenor, we'll actually get to go to Shathrath before it comes the Shathrath we know of.
Hmm. So that okay, so that makes sense, and then it could be also very interesting that um sorry, I've lost my thread. Okay. The expansion after this, it seems like they're setting it up such that they could then do another thing like Cataclysm of just redo the whole map because you could come for you basically you merge the two timelines.
Well, what Wind assumes, and I regretfully agree with him, is
Hmm.
the fact that basically what they're trying to do is set it up so they can have the old world exist at the same time as the new world. So people who dislike the new world will have the new world to play in, or the old world to play in.
Ah, okay.
Because people are always complaining about all the changes that they did in Cataclysm to the world.
Mm-hmm.
So basically set it up in an alternate timeline so that you have the old world to play in, and also you have the driving force. We saw what happened to our world. Let's try and prevent it from happening in this world.
Uh-huh.
So you have that motivation as well.
Okay. Here's my next question though. Is you were saying that the Outlands are there. Weren't the Outlands discovered because the Draenei crashed their spaceship or something? And
Well,
that happened. So how does that work? Like, will they be there in the 30 years ago or whatever?
well, no, the Draenei crashing onto Outlands, which is known as Draenor, by the way.
Okay.
They crash landed on there a long time ago.
Ah, okay.
Like a couple hundred years ago. So they're already there.
Ah, so they've just been chilling there the whole time.
Pretty much,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Oh,
I was under the impression that the crash of the Outlands there, but then the crash in where did they crash? Was it Azeroth, I think?
Yes, they crashed on Azurmis Isle. That did happen more recently.
Okay, because I remember that, and I remember really liking. I enjoyed when BC came out because both the Blood Elf and the Draenor training areas were really pretty.
Yes, they
which
were.
I admit I am biased for, and I did also kind of feel like the Blood Elf one had a little bit of like a Harry Potter Academy feel to it.
Because of how intrinsically attuned to magic the Blood Elves were.
Yeah, and all of the automated mops everywhere.
Yeah, I was about to make mention of the magic mops.
Mm-hmm.
I want one. I'm sure you have you seen any of the new models for the game, the redo models?
Yes, Wind posts them fairly constantly. I admit I see slight changes, but overall, they look more or less the same.
They look a lot better. They really do. I posted a couple of them myself of what Cath is going to look like in the new models, but they're actually redoing the Draenei and as well for the expansion because the fact that Draenei are going to be on Draenor when we get there, they're going to redo them so they'll slightly match the new models that are of the new orc and all that, so they can all look cohesively the same. But they're not doing the Blood Elves.
Okay.
Well, they are. Let me phrase that. They are doing the Blood Elves, but the change is not going to be done by the time the expansion launches.
Okay. That makes sense. So say, yay, patch.
Yeah. So
that's the other thing that I did appreciate, at least this time when I reinstalled everything, is one of my prevailing memories of Warcraft, particularly of expansions, is of any time I wanted to play on a computer that I hadn't been near in a while, I basically had to dedicate a day just to installing and patching the damn thing.
Yeah.
And I had to do that so many times, and just, yes, memory after memory of going, particularly for PC. I remember waiting, I did. I stood outside the game store at midnight, got the expansion pack, and didn't actually play that night. Because by the time it was 4 o'clock and it was still patching, I was like, just forget it.
I think the only 2 expansions that were released I've not actually been to the midnight for, and that was Wrath, and I really wanted to be to that one, but I couldn't because of work. And actually, I think when that came out, there was a lot of hubbub about gas prices being so high, which it was.
Oh yeah,
I remember that. It was almost like $4 a gallon out here, and that's a lot for gas out here.
That was, I think, yeah. Wrath came out, I want to say like late 2010. Because that I do remember, or maybe it was Cataclysm. I actually did return to Warcraft for like a month in late 2010.
When you said that you came back to the game for a while, I do remember playing with you a little bit in the not Howling Fjord, Borean Tundra, which is one of the starting areas in Wrath.
Yeah.
For a while, I do remember that.
It was a very short period. It was shortly after my sister passed, and I was at my mom's, and kind of like, well, what do I do? And the answer was not Warcraft, because Warcraft on a laptop does not work, and I just didn't have the attention span for it at that point, anyways. So
2008 on Wrath, by the way.
Okay, that makes sense. So I remember BC and I remember Wrath because it's 2008. I probably still would have been playing. And I think, well, when in 2008 did it come out?
Late. They're usually November.
Okay, so it was just after I moved,
Yeah,
and
because
moved overseas.
one easy way of remembering when WoW games come out is usually towards the end of the year.
Okay, well, for Christmas,
Yeah,
obviously.
basically, yeah. In fact, with the exception of Mist, I think all of them came out in November.
Hmm.
I think Mist. I think. Let me look on that. I'm pretty sure that Mist was the only one that came out. Didn't I think even Vanilla WoW came out in November. Welcome to the Reagents Research Cast.
Here to Google things for you while you listen.
Yep, it came out in September, so all of them came
Okay.
out in November, save for that one.
So.
I don't know why everybody hates on Pandera so much. I'm having so much fun in Pandera.
I haven't played it yet. I guess that was the expansion. I figured that I would wait to see if I actually started really playing
Yeah.
in earnest again to purchase. The thing that really did, however, irritate me was that I did purchase up to, the couple of expansions that I was missing and spent a fair amount of money.
Yeah.
And then the next week, Wynn comes out and says, "Look, they've said they'll give, they're giving out all the expansions to everybody for free." I hate you.
Yeah.
Made me very angry.
I remember that. I remember how livid you were.
Oh well.
But yeah, I mean, Wind, he's all about the hate on the panda people. But
Yeah.
I understand. Okay, I can understand why people don't like him because it's basically it leads you.
It's a panda.
Well, not beyond the pandas, but the Pandera itself. Questing through Pandera leads you by the hand from point A to point B to point B. Basically, you start out, it tells you to go from A to B. You go to B, you find a bunch of quests. Then when you get done with those quests, it tells you to go to C. Then to C, you do all the quests, and it tells you to go to D, and so on and so on and so on.
Well, it's basically what the game is, anyways, but just
Yeah.
with entire regions. That may have more to do with the fact that I will admit I am obsessed, and it took me forever to clear. The character that I rolled? What did I roll? A
Recently?
blood elf. It was an
Yep.
elf. That's what it was.
So,
It took
yeah.
me forever to clear that beginning zone because I insisted, even though they were green, and I think I had a couple gray
Exactly.
quests at that point. We're like, no, I have to finish every single one, and that's my own OCD.
I'm the same way with quests.
So it's like, no, you have to do them, and you have to do them in order, and that's why everything takes forever.
Because the overall story that they're presenting you makes more sense when you do it in order.
Exactly.
I just recently did the part where you meet up with Chin Stoutmantle, which is in Warcraft 3. He's one of the people that helped found Orgrimmar.
Oh, okay.
But I just met up with him and his niece Lily.
Lily, of course.
Yeah, the both of them are quite hilarious together. And Wynn keeps talking about they're just Jackie Chan and his niece from the Jackie Chan Adventures cartoon series.
But, and those are decent characters. There are worse people that they could put in that game.
Well, he's like, it's lazy writing. I'm like, no, it's not lazy writing. It's a trope that's different.
I would say, yeah, like, how is it a trope? Okay, or sorry, how is it lazy writing okay, that's what it is. It's lazy writing if it's a fandom that you're not big on.
Yeah.
But it's a trope and it's really well done if it's something that you like. So I know that like a lot of people were very excited about. I think it was Westfall. Maybe there's a quest that is like no, it must be later on. There's you basically looking for the Triforce.
No, that was Angora Crater.
Okay, Angora, but I know that that's in there. There's the Kessel Run is in there.
Yes,
I know.
The one you're talking about with Link is the character's actual name is Lincoln.
Yeah.
And you actually meet up with Mario and Luigi in that area too.
Of course.
That are fighting each other with piranha plants.
That's amazing.
Yes. But yeah, but what I was saying with them is basically you start out you meet them on the road and then you meet them throughout your questing through this one zone, and eventually the questing with them accumulates into introduction of the first dungeon.
Okay. That sounds nice and seamless, actually. Then.
Yeah, it basically culminates into the first dungeon, which is his family's brewery that's been overtaken by elementals. Elementals. Yeah. Amongst other things, and you got to go in there and defeat them. But and I thought it was cool.
It is fun. I will admit to having, once again, welcome to the Reagents research episode. I'm looking up. I have now a list of all of the various pop culture references in Warcraft.
There's a lot of them.
One of my personal favorite is apparently there's a Toshli station or Tachi's.
Yeah,
which
in, Burning Crusade. It's out in Blade's Edge.
Yeah. So that's an Outland. There's also. There is a Janestown, I think, somewhere.
The whole thing on Toshli Station thing, before you continue, there actually is a quest that you get that involves trying to collect power converters.
Okay, that's pretty fabulous.
There's also a reference to Starship Troopers in that zone too.
Ooh. Okay, so yeah, there's Mutter's Milk showed up at one point during a holiday fest. So there's your Janestown Firefly reference. I forgot. I knew that name looked familiar. There's a Geordie Lapforge.
Yep.
In Gadget's End, I remember that.
There's also a Scody.
Of course there is. There's also an away team with a goblin named Sprock. Apparently, as a Battlestar Galactic reference as well. Starbuck is represented by her actual name as there's Kara Thrice Star as opposed to Kara Starbuck Thrice.
Yes.
The more you know. Yeah, I'm not gonna sing, and I apologize for what singing I have already done.
I can't think of anything singing you've done except for that.
Well, I'd say I think it did the Price is Right song, but
yeah.
Oh.
What?
Sorry, I'm reading my various Misc geek headlines of the day. Disney forbade Stan Lee's cameo in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Have you read what it is?
Oh, apparently he's seen macking on a much younger woman.
No, that was actually in the movie.
Really?
Yeah. You saw it.
Oh, yes, he is. No, I do. He has a cameo very early on as well, if I recall.
Yeah, it was within the first 30 minutes.
Updated. Apparently, they did not forbid the scene because they never actually saw it.
Gotcha. Because I remember them saying something about the original scene that they wanted was him as part of the collector's collection, and then when Star-Lord or somebody looks at him, he just flips them off.
Yes, you are correct. Is that Groot looks at him and he would flip him off because he is one of the collector's exhibits.
Gotcha.
I guess they didn't. It's like, what? Just because flipping the bird is that bad?
Well, I mean, Star-Lord did it in the movie.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I can in fact see Disney forbidding something like that. They are very, very careful with, what they allow their associated people to do. Yes, once again, see Vanessa Hudgens and nude photos.
Indeed.
Yeah. Well, I figure when you have that many child stars that you control that to that extreme so much when they're younger, the minute they have money and a little bit of freedom, they're going to go crazy. Tiger Woods and Drew Barrymore and Hilary Duff. I mean, they all did it. So, I don't know. It doesn't seem that unexpected to me anymore.
Indeed.
So, yay.
Well, I think I'm going to wrap us up here because we're about 2 hours that we've.
It's like, we're now on to the third episode. Actually, we're just starting a podcast with the two of us. You didn't know it, but.
Hey, I wouldn't mind that at all. But
reagents required, tangents necessary.
God, I'm definitely using that as a tagline now. That's amazing. But is there anything you would like to plug before we go?
I don't know. Like I say, I can't really think of anything. Go brush your teeth. That's always, dental hygiene is something that really is just not given enough consideration these days.
That works. Yeah, that works.
Did you have a shameless plug? That's kind of the best I can come up with.
Not
right
really.
now.
That's why I was asking you to see if you did. I thought maybe of all people you might.
All right. Yeah. No, I say I can give you public health announcements and encouragements.
I'm
Yes.
going.
That and no, you're not going to get Ebola.
I'm going for a record 2 hosts with no plugs. Woohoo!
You go. Well, it's just to say you have to find hosts of other podcasts. I don't have my own, so I don't have anything to plug unless you feel like giving me an actual job, in which case by all means hire me. But other than that, you know,
Trust me, I wish I could.
lack of plugs. Actually, no, I do have something to plug, which would be the Bomb Tacos food truck in Denver. There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Any possible way in which way that anybody can reach them or learn more?
Facebook and Twitter would be Bomb Tacos Co., which is
Okay.
very exciting and very tasty. Have you ever had a duck confit taco? You wouldn't think it would be tasty, but it's very good.
I don't even know
So,
what the fuck that is.
um, amazing would be the short answer. So let me. It's got. I will even pull up the menu for you to read this to you because it is that good. Um, so yeah, so it's a goat cheese creme fraiche with shredded lettuce, a mango pico that he makes himself, a mango habanero glaze which he also makes himself, but I think sometimes it's peaches because peaches are very local to Colorado and very good this time of year. And he also does. Have you ever had cracklins, like pork cracklins?
Yes, I have.
Okay, he does duck cracklins.
I'm from the South. Yes, I have.
Okay, duck cracklins.
That
That's
sounds
all. That's all you need to know.
That does sound good.
So there. Okay, so there is. So I did have a shameless plug, but still also brush your teeth.
Yes. I'll put a link to all that stuff in the description once
Okay.
it goes up,
Fabulous.
so people can actually look at it without having to figure out what the fuck did they just talk about.
Too many things to name.
This is true too. Okay.
Well, I hope they enjoyed it.
This was fun. I'm definitely gonna have to pull you back on sometime.
This was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. So
Good. As long as we enjoyed ourselves, that's all that matters.
fuck everybody else.
Wow, what a way to end it.
I would say I did minimal swearing throughout the entire podcast. That I'd throw that one in there at the end.
That's true. You deserve it.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna end it.
Okay.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye bye.